Hello, my customer success friends. Yuri Ezebs here for CSM Practice, the customer success consulting firm. Today I have with me Andreas, thought leader in this space. He has actually created the Customer Success Performance Index and was one of the runner-ups for the Innovator of the Year award for CS100. In fact, I was so impressed by his innovation that I invited him to speak about it in this vlog, and I'm super excited to share it with you as all of you are probably starting to think about your vision and plans for 2019. And if you're already in 2020 watching this video, this is still relevant, so listen up. All right.
Absolutely.
Welcome, Andreas.
Yes, great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Of course. My pleasure. So, one of the things that got me so excited is the Customer Success Performance Index is almost like a health score, but for your own team.
That's correct, yes.
Tell me more about this. How did you think about that?
Well, on one hand, it comes from my background as a mathematician. Looking always at data to discern patterns, right? To find some rules. I need to find some secret formula that is behind something to make sense of my world.
That's awesome. Our client success community is rich with brainiacs like Andreas that actually have PhDs and can come up with this stuff. So
I've done this working full-time as a CS leader, and then over time these patterns emerged. Basically, the definition of the world from the lens of customer success, how I see it, has now 8 dimensions. And these 8 dimensions are this customer success performance in.
So when you used it for your own team,
yes,
you set up the framework and then you basically just scored yourself on how you were doing. And what kind of patterns did you start seeing and what kind of results did you have for yourself?
So the overall score, basically the spider diagram, shows very quickly in this one slide how you are doing or not doing in the various dimensions. And it shows where you are the weakest. The goal is not to be on the best in every dimension, but in order to get there, to have this assessment framework and say like, oh, we could do something more on the resources that we provide to our customers, one of the other dimensions that we have. We could think differently about segmenting our customers, not how we view the customers, but how they view themselves in terms of their business goals. So that you have that alignment more from a customer-centric perspective instead of from a company-centric perspective. Right? Okay. And that helps you to drive that conversation then with the executives, and hopefully many of them are happening right now in the planning for next year. What can we do next? What should we be doing next in the attainment of that goal? And yes, as you get more and more towards that elusive perfect score, the return on your efforts, right, is probably starting to diminish a little bit. Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So if you're a customer success executive and you feel like your team is not optimizing results, if you take the framework of the Customer Success Performance Index, it will showcase certain areas of managing a customer success team, your practice, and say what are the highlight areas where improvement can be made. But it's up to you then to assess which areas should I tackle first that I think would impact my challenge, but at least it'll focus you on the right area. According to what you say, I could be 50% versus optimized, but if I don't have an issue in that area, why should I even tackle it? So we want to look at the framework, assess where we are, get that spider diagram, and then use that as a tool to start thinking about next steps for next year in order to improve performance of the whole team and how we interact with clients.
Exactly. And as you know, inside company, there's various stakeholders with their own interests. If to get to an improved state in one area would require engineering to do a major overhaul of their roadmap, which obviously also has a critical impact on your strategic vision for your products, what you have promised already to prospects and existing customers. If you throw that roadmap away to do something else just to be better in that dimension, then maybe it's better to focus on some other areas. So it's a tool to start you to think about what to do, not a prescribed dogma that says, oh, here you're lowest and therefore you must do this, that, or the other.
Gotcha.
Right? There's always a bit of brain that should be involved as well,
in
not
assessing
just
the
raw
results.
data.
Absolutely. And I love these frameworks because I think without it, sometimes we just get a little lost and we don't know where to focus.
Yes.
So this is great. I want to say, about the performance index, there's really 8 pillars of the customer success performance index. There's alignment, team, segmentation, playbooks, resources, onboarding, separate from playbooks, by the way, because it's super important, relationship, and ROI.
Yep.
So all 8.
First dimension of this around alignment. Customer success, in one unnamed example, was more thought as a nice to have. I call it a hobby. Not as a core strategy for the preservation of renewals revenue for years and years to come. Because sales is great, you celebrate all these new accounts coming in, but we're not in 1999 anymore, where that was all that counted. Now you need to keep the customer. So that takes more than just saying, oh, we have a customer success team and we measure some NPS. So good, we're done, walk away. So from an alignment perspective, I use this to talk to the executives and say, we need to do more. We need to have customer success as a culture in our company. Because customer success should drive certain product innovations. Customer success should drive how the company strategically aligns marketing and sales and other types of resources, and not be as, oh, because I heard 2 of my friends doing it,
this.
let's do this too, and not knowing what is going on.
Okay,
right?
so that's an example of how one pillar can impact your conversation with the executive
Correct.
team. Was there anything in those pillars that you absolutely felt like most customer success teams are a little bit behind?
I think that in particular in the onboarding, they're lacking. There's never a second chance of a first impression.
Yes.
You have a new customer and they may be lost in the resources that you're providing, but you're not providing a good enough guideline.
Yes.
I had examples where they say, well, we have a very active community, and I joined that community, and I could not find where should I get started. There was lots of good information that later on, once I became an expert, was very helpful to me, but not for a newbie, not for a beginner.
Yeah.
So to focus on that onboarding, to help someone to reach successful milestones in your solution is absolutely critical.
That's awesome.
And the other thing that is very easy to do is to celebrate these successes.
Andreas, this is very thoughtful. Thank you for sharing this.
Welcome.
Do you just to recap, do you believe that if every customer success executives assess their own team's health based on these 8 pillars, alignment, team, segmentation, playbook, resources, onboarding, relationship, and ROI, do you feel like if they did that like once a year, once every 6 months, they would be in a better position to constantly align their strategy to what is to eventually create a best of breed customer success practice for them?
I believe in this 100%. That is what I'm doing. And having a framework instead of just hoping that I find where the weaknesses are in my own performance, right? When I build a team, when I implement the processes, etc., to say, no, let me go back to those 8 pillars and do the self-assessment. Is there something that has changed in the team composition? Because also, if you have a team of 3, there is not so much that you can do with variation.
Yeah.
If you have the luxury of a team of 30, or I built once a team of over 70 people, then you can really go out and define very deep subject meta area specifications that you have in your team, etc. So that you don't fall into this trap what worked for me 2 years ago with a smaller team, with a smaller company, with a different environment that we were all in, is still good enough.
Yeah.
And that is why I say I believe 100% if everyone does this, they will be better off afterwards than they were before.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Andreas. Guys, I will include some more resources at the bottom of this video in the comments. If you have tried it out and it worked out for you, please add your experience. If you have more questions for Andreas, add it in the comments to the YouTube video. Subscribe for more videos in the future. I'm also going to include a subscription to our newsletter so you can be the first to hear about anything new that we can come up with. Thank you so much for listening today and watching us. See you till the next video.
And thank you for having me. Bye-bye.